So why don't we begin with a post that I found on Twitter from a guy named Gary Black. Let me show you what Gary wrote. Now, I don't know who this guy is. Maybe you all have heard of him. I don't know. Let's take a look at his profile here. You see, because he's got 492,000 followers, almost 500,000 followers. He's got a big following here, at least on Twitter. And says in his bio, he is the managing partner of the Future Fund, LLC. He is an SEC registered investment advisor. And so, anyway, maybe you guys have heard of this guy. Maybe he's been on TV. I don't know. I've never heard of him. And anyways, here is what Gary wrote. He wrote, "Yeah, I voted for Trump, but I never thought he'd be so foolish to actually move forward with the 25% tariffs, given the well-documented history of how the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930 triggered the onset of the Great Depression as global trade flows dried up." And he includes in his tweet some images of an article. And the article, I'm not sure. Oh, Bloomberg, summary by Bloomberg. Okay, and the title of this article is "Stock Sell-Off Deepens as Trump Confirms Tariffs." And he included several pictures here of the article. So that's what he posted. And so let's return to what this genius says, because this is these people. He writes. So first he writes, "I voted for Trump, but I never thought he'd be so foolish to actually move forward with 25% tariffs." Okay, let me stop you right there, Gary. You never thought he'd be so foolish as to enact the tariffs that he talked about constantly when he was running for president? You didn't think he might do that? I mean, there were few issues that were a central part of his campaign. Tariffs were one of them. He talked about them all the time. I mean, don't you remember? Tariffs, the most beautiful word in the English language. Tariffs. He told us that he was going to solve all of our nation's problems with tariffs. Tariffs were going to allow us to eliminate our annual deficit, which is like $2 trillion. And not only that, tariffs would single-handedly enable us to pay off our national debt, $36 trillion. And not only that, tariffs would raise so much money for the United States that we would be able to completely get rid of the income tax and fund the entire government and run surpluses with tariffs. And you, Gary, never thought he'd be so foolish to move forward with the tariffs he always talked about? Gary, there's a word for you. Actually, there's a lot of words for you, and I'll be charitable here. You're an idiot. I don't know how you accumulated 500,000 followers. Actually, that's not true. The dumber you are, the more followers you get because you appeal to other stupid people. Anyway, let me continue with what he wrote. Never thought he'd be so foolish to move forward with tariffs, given the well-documented history of how the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930 triggered the onset of the Great Depression and the global trade war. You really think, Gary, that Donald Trump knows anything about the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930? You think he is familiar with the, as you said it, the well-documented history of how the Smoot-Hawley tariffs destroyed the economy? You think he knows anything about that history? Do you think Donald Trump knows anything about history? Period. Do you think Trump reads or something? What would lead you to believe that this blithering idiot, who Donald Trump obviously is, he speaks at like a third grade level. This is a profoundly stupid person. You thought he would be familiar with the well-documented history of the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act and what it did to the United States. Oh my God. Gary. And it's not like Trump just appeared on the scene. You know, he was president before. He's been in our lives on the political scene for a decade. And you didn't think that guy was foolish enough? I mean, and it doesn't matter what follows foolish enough. You didn't think, for you to not think Trump is foolish enough to fill in the blank proves that you're an idiot. There is nothing too stupid or destructive for Donald Trump to be foolish enough not to be foolish enough to do. And you thought that guy, and here you are. Again, what is your title here? You are managing partner of the Future Fund. You're a SEC registered investment advisor. So you would think that you know something about the economy. And I know I shouldn't make that assumption, especially given what we know about you. But you would think that someone with your credentials would know something about the economy, how business works. And you would know, if you did know anything about the economy, you would know that chaos and instability and the tariffs that he was promising and all the things he's doing are bad for business and thus bad for the economy. Chaos, abandoning the rule of law, threatening our trading partners all over the world, all of this stuff is bad for business. You didn't know that, Gary?